I always get to where I'm going by walking away from where I've been.
I always get to where I'm going by walking away from where I've been.
It's very mysterious.
Hey, everybody. Jim Cummings here. Welcome to my podcast, Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. We have a great guest for you today. But before we get to that, make sure you like and subscribe. Our podcast has partnered with the largest Comic-Con in North America, Fan Expo, the Juggernaut. We're touring all over North America live, so get your tickets and come be a part of the live audience. It'll be fun. Go to fanexpohq.com for the tickets. We'll see you in a city near you, or a little bit away, but you can drive. And with all that said and done, sit back and enjoy today's episode. And as always, thanks for tuning in to Toon'd In with Jim Cummings.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. I am producer Chris, joined as always by the legend himself, Mr. Jim Cummings. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello, 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 one and all. And have we got a show for you?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please.
We have a very special guest today, a singer, a very talented actor.
Unbelievable.
We'll get into all of that very much later. Adassa, thank you so much for joining us.
So glad to be with all of you.
Oh, amen. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And you look fabulous and life is good. Oh, man.
Life is very good.
Yeah, it is. It's good to be you.
It's good to be alive.
Yeah, what you said. Well, thanks for being alive with us.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
I am Afro-Latina and my family is all Colombian. That's how I got cast in the film Encanto. And I was born in Florida, so I'm from the South. All my kids were born in the South, from Arizona to Tennessee and even Monterrey, Mexico. I started doing music since I was about 6 years old. And once The Little Mermaid came out, I knew I wanted to be part of that world. What would I give if I could live out of these waters? Like, that was my dream. I just wanted to be an extra at Disney. Like, I didn't even dream like high dreams. I'm like, I just want to be a greeter. I was like, hello, welcome to Disney. The parade starts at 3 o'clock. That was it.
Well, technically you failed because you're so much more. You're infinitely, you overshot that goal. So much for that. What next? President?
It's beautiful. I'm actually releasing a book. It comes out, it's already out, and then it has an album that drops May 8th. And so I'm very excited. It's my memoir. It's talking about the experience that I've had in music, being on stages all over the world, working with Pitbull, Flo Rida, Snoop Dogg, Ciara, Missy Elliott, and then taking a break from music, retiring from music, and then Disney came a-knocking out of the blue. And so it's been quite the journey of retirement and then out of retirement.
Why did you retire from music?
I wanted to spend more time with the family. I started baking bread. I started focusing on my spirituality, and then just focused on that. And we have a film and TV company. So my husband does music for Warner Chappell, for music, for all kinds of shows and telenovelas and dramas and movies. And so I just kind of took a step back and focused on the kids. We have 7 children and 5 of them are still at home.
Amazing.
But I kept writing. Oh, they all are talented. Actually, they're all signed with an agency.
Well, I was talking about their mom, but okay. I'm sure they're pretty good.
I try not to believe me. This business is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart or for someone who needs their ego stroked. It's not. This is for the business of break you until you made it and then maybe break you again. And if you still survive, then there's a place for you.
Well, that explains it because I'm too stupid to quit. So that's why I'm still here.
That's us.
I'm still here. So there, take that. Oh my gosh. Well, that's an amazing story. And now did you always know? Because I kind of always knew that I was going to do something like this, something exactly like this. When were you sitting there on your grandma's knee or grandpa's and saying, well, what do you think you're going to do, honey, when you grow up? And you said, well, I'm going to be an astonishingly gifted performer and actress and singer. And is that what happened?
I wanted to sing, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I actually carried the torch for 3 generations because my grandmother wanted to be a
Whoa.
singer. But growing up in Colombia, and she's from a very humble family, she didn't have the means to make it in the business or
Sure.
even the connections to do it. And
Right.
so she turned to something more practical. She went into medicine. And then my mom, she wanted to be a musician. And so she played the guitar and had a little band in Colombia. They were called Mar Azul. And they had one song on the radio. That was like the highlight. And
Wow.
when I came along, I was like, no, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it all the way. And so I do carry the torch for 3 generations. Actually, when I was being cast in the film and my callback, that's what I talked about. I was like, I need you to
Yeah.
know where I came from. And I showed them pictures of my mom and my grandma. And I told them about my dad, that he had to start working when he was like 9 years old to feed the family and to bring money in. And so he sold arepas and
gosh.
bollos door to door. So
No
being
kidding.
in the United States and being born here is a privilege. Believe me, I am one of those lucky people that have parents that strive to give us something other than what they were born into. And I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, it's funny because my people are all from the United States, but my dad had to do that when he was a little guy. He had to get out, and he was 9 or 10 years old, and he said, "Well, son, you better get your butt out there and start supporting the family and doing this." And he would do odd jobs, and he would just bring all 56 cents home for that day's work, and throw it into the coffer. So yeah, wow, I can't believe we have similar backgrounds.
I think that that's what gives us that grit of never quit. I never saw my parents quit anything. I saw them do a lot of things to make sure. Like my dad, he cleaned offices, moved furniture. I remember him having a moving company, and we would like go with him. So they really, really did everything they could. And so when I had this dream, obviously I also did not have any money, but I had a lot of drive. Then I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And so starting off in the industry with that mindset, the first thing you do, like in any business, is you study your competition. You're like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be better than everyone, and I'm going to match them or beat them. And so that was my first 10 years in my career, was like, I'm going to make this happen because I want to make a living off of this. I don't just I want to make a living.
Yes.
And when I met my husband, he and I got together. He's an amazing songwriter. And that's when I got signed to my very first record deal. And so I got signed, and then we got together. Then I got signed to my first publishing deal. And that's where the dream just morphed way beyond being an extra at Disney. And that's when I got signed and traveled. And so after taking that break, I decided, you know what, I'm going to focus on just being like the super best mom ever,
Oh, that's great.
Like I still homeschool the kids. Like I'm literally like, I'll turn my camera. This is the homeschool room for 2 of my little ones over here. So I have my office over here
That's
and then
great.
school room over here.
That's so
And
cool.
so
Good for
I
you.
love spending that time with them. It's beautiful. It's fun. I get to learn a lot. They teach me more, I think, than sometimes I teach them.
And they have a teacher that they can actually stand. That they don't
know.
like well, sometimes. I went to Catholic school, and some of the nuns were tough.
Oh boy.
They were like,
yeah.
but your kids, I think they've got it covered. Good for you.
Thank you. No, it's not
I hope
easy,
they know
but
how lucky they are.
Because they're all into the arts. My 13-year-old, she'd rather, do her puppet animation all day long than to learn about
Oh, that's
physics.
great.
So I say, this is the goal. You graduate, you're done. And so my 16-year-old graduated at 14. And so now she gets to spend the next 2 years doing basically whatever she wants until she goes to college. So she's doing that. So
Good for her.
Graduated
Wow,
at
that's
14.
amazing.
That's amazing.
yeah.
Wow. Wow.
That
I wanted
is
to ask you, you were talking about earlier how you're from you're the third generation of singers. Did you feel pressure when you were young because of that? Or was it uplifting, encouraging? I feel like that would kind of be a little daunting, if you're coming from that lineage to do that.
Not if that's what you want to do. I think it's if the expectation of the parent is for the child to do it. For me, it was never an expectation. It was a goal. It was a dream that I wanted to make materialize. It was never like, well, you're expected to go into the family business. Never. I just was so hungry for it. That was hard because my parents were just trying to survive. Like I wanted to be like, I want to go try out for the Mickey Mouse Club. You remember? MICKEY. Like I grew up during the time of the Britney Spears and the Christina Aguilera's
God,
going
yes.
to try out.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, please. We live in Miami. I just want to go to Orlando and try out, you know?
Yeah, that's
But
true, huh?
I had to find my way. And then I had to find my voice.
We have to find it too.
So I think it's the expectation of a parent that is what's daunting sometimes for them, and it feels like so much pressure. For me, it was never an expectation. To me, it was like, this is what I want to do. This is my dream. I'm
that's
grateful
good.
that you open the eyes. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Because
it's
I
like
mean, if
you're
it's
born
yours,
into a
you
family
own
of
it.
painters, but
Yeah.
you want to paint.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. Well, good for you. I think, and I've often said this, I think the earlier you know who you're going to be and what you're going to do and what career you're going to pursue, the earlier you land on that, the better. The earlier, the better, because it gives you that much longer to aim at the target. And I've said it before on this podcast, I knew I was going to do this when I was 5. So it gave me a nice ramp. It gave me a nice lead time, plenty of time to find the bullseye.
I think you also have to have
it's
some
true.
sort of delusion about success, because if you really look, and I think right now it's even more challenging than
I think you're right.
you started or I started. It's that
I think you're right.
competition is in your face all day long. Somebody's better
Yeah.
than you, started when they were younger than you, so much taller than you, so much prettier than you. They could do more than you. Like constantly, it's just you're attacked by people's talents. And instead of being influenced by a goal and influenced by the few, you're influenced by the world. And so now more than ever, I think it's hard for new talents to see that as a possibility instead of well, now all these people started so much time ago. Why should I even try? Like for me, I was delusional. How would I ever know I would end up doing what I did? I was just a girl born from Colombian parents living in the South with a dream. That was it. Like I never expected to live this kind of dream. But
That's
you
all
do
it
have
took.
to be delusional of your success, your possible success.
Sure. No, I agree. Yeah. Well, what was it? I hope for the best. I accept. I expect. I hope for the best. I expect the worst, but I take what comes.
There you
And
go.
that gets you through a lot. It gets you through a lot of tough times and prepares you for the good ones.
Yes.
Knock wood. And you've had plenty of good ones. That's a fantastic thing. Yes. And so you knew that you were always going to do this kind of, basically.
Yes. The hard part was being in the middle of the audition.
Yeah.
My family and I had COVID, and then I got hit with the second wave of COVID. I actually thought I was pregnant because I started feeling sick, and it was literally the day after the callback. That audition I had in front of Jared Bush and Byron Howard and Yvette Medino. And I went to the hospital and I told my husband, I'm just going to go take a blood test because my pregnancy tests had come out negative, but that had happened with our second child. So I was like, you just...
Yeah.
And so I went there, and then within the hour, I couldn't speak, and then I couldn't move my hands and my legs, and before I knew it, I was paralyzed from the neck down.
No kid. And that was COVID?
Yes, I didn't know it at the time. I thought I was dying because I could barely breathe when it would happen. And the doctors didn't know what was happening. They ran CT scans, MRIs, test after test. And then after hours of being there, they told me, we don't know what your symptoms are. And I said, well, I don't want to die here. My husband couldn't be with me. So I signed myself out against doctor's orders, and I went home and I wrote my will. I kissed my kids, and then I waited for death. And
Oh my God.
and then during that moment where I was just trying to just breathe, we had a friend come over who just happened to be an EMT, and he's like, let's go to Vanderbilt because I live in Nashville, and let's get a second opinion. We went there after another 14 hours of test after test. The neurologist came and said, there's so many unknowns with COVID. We don't know if or when your symptoms may pass. We can run a spinal tap to see if maybe it's Guillain-Barré syndrome, but there's nothing we can do. And so that was it. That was my fate. And this was after the callback. So day after day, I would just go to sleep and then hope I would wake up.
Well, there's no pressure then, huh? God bless you, my dear.
That is absolutely insane. That's so crazy. That must have been such a huge mix of emotions, terrifying, and I can't even imagine paralysis. How long did that last for?
It it would go on and off. So like unfortunately, the way that it worked for me is that I couldn't do multiple tasks at the same time. So if I wanted to talk, I could talk. If I wanted to move, I could move. But if I wanted to walk and talk, I would just pass out and hit the floor.
No
And
kidding.
when the
My
paralysis would
goodness.
take over, it was like somebody just shutting down little by little every knob of function in my body. And so I would just like stop being able to walk, and then my words would just start to slur. And literally I'm giving a rap the night before. So this is what it feels like to match wits with someone at your level. You know what I mean? I'm rapping over here.
Whoa.
I'm doing some Hamilton.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah.
next thing I can't even say my name. And I'm like, what is happening to my brain, to my hands? And so we started to pray, and we started to try to figure out what was going on our own. And I started fasting. And during the times, every day I would wake up and I would hope to go to sleep that night and wake up the next day. And so
Yeah.
there was one particular moment that was extremely, like, I guess, eye-opening for me, and
Yeah.
the greatness that it is to have a family was that I was in the bath, and I told my husband, I'm just gonna take a bath. I'm so exhausted. My body is spent. And he was like, okay, I'll go to the kitchen and then I'll come in and check on you. And the water started rising and my body started shutting off, and then I started sinking. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna scream for help, and nothing came out because I was going into full paralysis. And I thought, I am going to die in this tub. And as I was sinking and the water started rising over my nose, my husband opened the door, rushed in, took me out completely naked, and placed me on the bed. And I was just sobbing. And then we sat there, and then I said, I'm just useless. I'm a head in a bed. What good am I? I had put my value so much on my talent, on if I could sing, if I can, perform, if I can make a mean plate of enchiladas and clean my house and do all the dishes or whatever.
Yeah.
I always placed my value on my talents or my abilities. And when all of that got stripped away, I understood that it's just good enough to be loved, and it's just good enough to be alive, and it's more than enough to feel the love and receive help from others. And that's the biggest thing that my husband showed me. He's like, if this is the reality, then we're gonna make do. If you can't talk, I'll speak for you. I'll learn to read your face. And he was just, it's a blessing.
Wow. Well, wherever he is, what's his name?
Gabriel, my husband.
Saint Gabriel.
He is my
but
angel, Gabriel.
I'm sure it's no coincidence that he shares his name with an archangel.
Really. And literally
that gets me.
during those days, when I was laying down in his lap, one of those hard days, we get a call, and it's Jamie Sparrow Roberts, the casting director for Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Tangled. I mean, some of the biggest hits. Congratulations, you got the part. And I still could barely speak. And my husband just put his hands over the phone, over the microphone, and he's like, you gotta tell him you can't take this. And I whispered, you call him if I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm taking
Yes.
this.
Oh, I'm taking it. Yeah. Yeah. He didn't realize that the actress is saying, yeah, no problem. No problem at all. In fact, it might even cure me.
I think partially it did.
I think, no, it really does. I think we all have a certain rise to the occasion. What's that? I can't do it. Oh, really? That now you're up and at 'em.
Exactly.
It's for better or worse. It probably reveals too much about my personality, but I do better when somebody has, and I have, when they say, "Well, you're not going to make it. You stink. Yeah, you're terrible. Yeah, no, you know what? You think you're this. You think, nope. Get on down to the steel mill. Join the Teamsters, because that's it, partner. That's you. Ooh, that's your destiny. And I had a for, I don't want to put too fine a point on this, but I had a guy who dated my cousin, who lived across the street, and his name was Jim Mon. He was a teacher at Ursuline High School, and he slammed me up against the locker, and he says, let me tell you something, Cummings. You think you're this, you think you're that, with all your little stupid voices and everything. Oh, you'd be, Mr. Speech, turn him in. You ain't gonna do shit with that, okay? Get me? You're gonna get up. You're gonna go. You're gonna try to about a year and a half of college. You're gonna flunk out. You ain't going to college, and you're not getting a diploma. And then you're going to go to the mill, and then you're going to go back and forth from the sheet and tube to the Briar Hill Works, and you're going to do that for like 40 years. Then you're going to sit at home, you're going to have a rocking chair, drink Schlitz beer, and lose money on the Steelers and the Browns. And I said, wow, are you sure that's me? Are we talking about the same me? And my point is, I get more encouragement from that speech than you're going to do it. Go get him, partner. Rah, 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 sis, boom, bah, good for you. But somebody telling me I can't do it, it's as good as done, which is probably reveals too much about my personality. And
But that's what it takes. There's so much more pressure on somebody staying down than there is to lift them up. And there's so much pressure in the industry to just better yourself. Okay, you did that, now do something more. And the reality is, for somebody who's creative, there's no end to our creativity. To the contrary, there may be less opportunities to do it that somebody else is handing you. But with technology today, you're the one that gives yourself the mic. You're the one that turns on that camera. You're the one that can create anything you can possibly imagine and make yourself your own star. So why don't you?
Yeah, it's so good. That's so true. We should carve that into stone. Put that out there.
I heard you in another interview say that the casting director found you through a video on YouTube. Can you tell us that story?
So every time I have a baby, my husband and I get into this, let's get back into shape mode. And so we will make music as if I'm going to release an album, just so I can get nice and fit and cool and feel pretty again, get my waist back. And so I've had to bounce back 6 times. I've had no twins. Like every pregnancy, it's been like, okay, here we go again. And so in this time, my husband's like, you know what? We've been working our music and stuff. Why don't we take a break? Let's go to Miami. And we're like, yeah, of course, let's go. And so we went to Miami. But we always bring our gear with us. And I'm sure, like Jim, you take your mic with you, you take basic equipment, because you never know when the inspiration hits.
Never know.
And so it was like 4:30 in the morning, and Gabriel's like, good morning. And I'm like, hi, good morning, because he gets up. And so we do our devotional and we read together, and it's like about 5. And he's like, the light's so pretty right now. And I'm like, yeah, it's so nice. And he's like, why don't we shoot a video for that song we just made? I'm like, babe, I want to go downstairs, have some tacos, and hit the beach. And he's like, one take, and then we go. I'm like, all right, fine. So he turns on the camera, and I'm literally like in my pajama pants, and I get in there and I start rapping it. And it's like this really low voice, and it's in Spanish. Háblame claro, dime por qué acabó. Lo de nosotros fue más de una noche de simple pasión. And I just rap the thing, and I'm like, okay, you promised me some tacos. And so we went to have our tacos. So we uploaded it to our YouTube channel. I totally forgot about it. And it might have had maybe 300 views. It's not like one of my biggest, players, because we didn't promote it. We didn't like do a lead in. We just put it up there. But one of those people that were watching was Grace Kim, who is now the casting director of Disney. But she was casting directing assistant to Jamie Sparrow Roberts. And so that's how they found me, was through my YouTube channel. But I had not checked that email in forever, probably over a year. And so my phone broke on that trip. We go get it updated. And then, the first thing you do, you have to update all your passwords. So I updated the passwords, and I did my YouTube channel. Then all these hundreds and hundreds of emails come up. And at the top of that, it was, we'd like to get a hold of Adassa for an opportunity. And that was Disney.
Wow.
So I did not do a casting for it. I did not have an agent. I had never considered myself an actress. I've done things for McDonald's and Secret, but it's always been musically. And so when I got, the audition opportunity, they were like, can you act? I'm like, well, I'm a mother of 7, so acting is in my blood. Let's give it a go,
Yeah, that's right. Oh, God. Yeah. I act like these kids aren't ready to drive me nuts.
I know you joke, but was that actually intimidating at all to do voice acting for the first time?
It was different than singing, because singing, you're also conveying a message, but with voice acting, and now I've learned so much more since then. It's a lot more of learning to know who you are and what your voice is. And then you take somebody's script and bring yourself to the table. And that's what you're really presenting. You're not trying to do something else. That's what that's what you're doing. Unless you're asked to like voice match something, and then you have to go into that texture that they're asking you for, that raunchy personality, and who are they from? Do they have an accent? Is it a baby? And so since then I've learned so much more. But when that happened, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what my personality is right now. Can you just give me like 5 more minutes and like figure myself out, and then I'll come back to the table. But like that was the hardest thing, was there like just trying to find the voice of Dolores. But the most incredible, weird coincidence of it all was when I was finally in front of that microphone, and I had to do, like, literally from not being able to speak, I had 3 weeks before I was in the booth and doing the recordings. And it was like training like Rocky, but in slow motion. I'm gonna make it from here to the door. Bring me a water. I'm dying over here. That was training until I was there. And so when I first was on the microphone and I was in my energetic self, then they told me, we were hoping that Dolores could be a more soft-spoken character. And literally all of that time in paralysis, that's exactly how I had to speak, in a very hushed tone, very quiet, because that's all I could give before I literally would pass out. If I gave any more strength to my voice, I would literally just check out. And so
you were accidentally rehearsing.
I didn't know. I was preparing for the part of a lifetime, because everything was in a hushed tone. I'm a Latina. You can see me. I talk very loud. I move my hands.
I hadn't noticed, but okay.
Right? It's there. But during that time, I had to become very still, and everything had to be very mechanical and very slow, and just don't ever move anything. It's just like it had to be so intimate. And so when I started going, like I was like, yeah, I think I could do that. And I just went there, and he was like, Jared Bush was the one that directed me almost in every session. He was like, yes, that's the sound. Keep it right there. And I'm like, wow, I've been keeping it there for quite a while now.
keeping it. Yeah. Yeah. If it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh.
What was it like working with Lin-Manuel Miranda? Sorry for my pronunciation.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. How's it actually pronounced? You say it.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Well, if you're Latino, if not, you're like Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, so I'm not allowed to say it that way.
I don't know. There's no check mark. I'm just saying.
If you're from Ohio, it's...
when you look at the accent con la idea. Yeah. When I was with him, he makes you feel like you're best friends, like you've known each other forever. And
that's good. Yeah.
So warm. And inside I was just like, this is so great. And my legs were shaking. I was like spaghetti legs, but we were doing it through Zoom, so he didn't see my spaghetti legs. And so when we were working on it, and because I had already worked with Byron Howard and Jared Bush, I knew what they wanted for Dolores. And when I received the demo for We Don't Talk About Bruno, no, he was singing every single part. So like I received the sheet music, and honestly, I was really bad at music class when I was in school. I was a very bad sight reader, and I was like...
Oh, sight reader. Yeah, me too.
So which voice am I? Like, is it this one? I'm sorry. Can you just point out? And so they tracked it out, what I'm supposed to do. And I was like, great. And the demo was supposed to be sung, grew to live in fear, Bruno stuttering and stumbling. I can always hear him sort of, very Broadway, very, But after working with them on the voice, I was like, I have another sound in my mind for what Dolores would do. And I had told my husband, and he's like, you should tell him. And I'm like, I'm such a scaredy cat. I was like, but I'm going to get fired. I don't tell anybody what to do. They tell me what to do. That's how it works. And he's like, no, you need to say it. And so.
But you have a voice. Yeah.
I was like, Lynn, I'm thinking about maybe doing it an octave lower. And he was like, sure, we'll give it a go. And that's when I did. Grew to live in fear, Bruno stuttering and stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. Tss, tss, tss. And he was like, that's it. Take a few more takes, we're done. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's there's something kind of innately sexy and interesting when a woman has a voice that goes way down there. Because we're used to, the opera. But when you do that, it's like, it makes you lean in and listen. What's she doing? Oh, okay.
But in the
Yeah.
history of Disney, usually they don't do like that, like low,
Yeah. That's
into
true.
the deep. And so that was the concern for me because I'm like Disney nut. Like I watched every movie of Disney, and I'm like,
Oh, sure.
that voice does not exist, and my voice is a lower tone. Although I would fake it to try to get those soprano solos, but ultimately I'm an alto. And so when I did it, and they said yes, and then Jared said yes, and everybody approved, I was just like, oh, it's so
Wow.
cool. And then the song starts taking off, and then they start doing these TikTok videos where they're putting me with like Doja Cat in my rap, and I'm like, this is so weird.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, that's what a great ride. I mean, what right out of the blue, right? And all of a sudden, pow.
So would you say you're
That's
most
wonderful.
focused on voice acting now, or are you back to music? What keeps you occupied these days?
I am doing music. I love it so much. I also have some acting projects on the side, but right now because of the book promotion, because basically they asked me, I would go on a lot of speaking engagements. They would ask me, you should tell your story. Because honestly, I'm here because, I believe in God and I say God is good. He saved my life to be able to sing another day here, and I'm grateful for every breath. And so I testify of being able to make it through something difficult. And sometimes we're so wrapped up on winning that we forget about living. And now I live every day to the fullest. So if an opportunity to act comes by, I'm taking it and I'm running with it and I'm going to have fun with it. If an opportunity comes to do another record, I run with it. And now with technology, we're shooting videos and we're having so much fun. And I'm enjoying it with my family and my kids. And so anything that comes my way that is something
Yeah.
good and positive that will leave a good impact in the world, that will inspire others to do good things, I'm all for it. That's
Yeah.
just my
Well, that's good.
so that's where the book came through. And I wrote this book. And then after we wrote the book, my husband and I were like, we should make music for the book. And we're like, who's going to want to, how are we going to do this? And then I'm like, we'll put QR codes in the book. And then they can do that, scan it, and it has a song. And
Oh,
so we
wow.
imagine this whole journey, and the book and the music go together because every single
brilliant.
chapter of the book, there is a song for every chapter in my life. And then it's in the lyrics.
That is wonderful.
That's really cool. I remember, just
That
to
is
go on a
so
little bit of a
great.
tangent, I remember Childish Gambino did that with one of his albums, Because the Internet. Did you read that script?
Oh my goodness.
He wrote a script
No.
for that, and each one of the songs was like sequential, like you're talking about. It was like a song that, and it was a really unique experience. That was the first time I've ever experienced that. So I'm really interested. I want to read your book because that was like, it gave such like emotion and setting and an imagination to like what you were reading. It was really cool to me.
That's what we did. I wanted to put sonics to the story because I used to memorize even my schoolwork with songs. I just couldn't. I couldn't just like, I want to learn all the continents. And I'm like, Asia, Africa, North America, South America. I had to make a song for it because I couldn't remember it
Yeah.
otherwise. And so for me, like
That's a
experiences
good.
are
That's a
materialized.
good trick, by the way.
It's
It
you
is.
remember now I'm teaching my
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And
No,
so
I remember
that
doing stuff like that.
it makes it easier for people who just want to do the art. And I think for anybody who's in school right now, find creative ways to get through it and you'll be fine and you can get to the other side of what you want to do. Just get the grades, get in there, get out. There's a
Yeah.
lot to learn, but that's why we did it. And like one of the first songs in the book is called The Writer. And I put the lyrics in there like poetry. So people think it's poems, but then you have the QR code and you hear the song and it says, when life bucks hard, I'll hold on tighter. Dig my heels in, cause I'm a fighter. I've been pulled, I've been thrown, I've hit the wire. But I don't fold, I climb up higher. The rougher the trail, the stronger the rider. And so that's been my life.
Nice. Wow. I have to give you a round of applause on that one. That was beautiful. Well said.
Thank you.
That is just fantastic. So do you have any goals that you still have to, any mountains you haven't climbed yet, or mountains that you've turned into molehills that you want to crush?
I think that having an outlet creatively that can inspire others to do the same. It's time for everybody to tell their story the way that they want to tell it. And now life is giving you that opportunity. You know, before starting off like doing music for me in the mid 90s, you didn't have that. You had your microphone. I had a backpack. That's where I was selling all my, tapes out of, because we didn't even have CDs at that time. It was tapes out of the backpack, and then we had CDs, and there was CDs out of the backpack. But now you grab your camera, it's on your phone. I mean, you could do anything with it.
Yeah.
You have that outlet of being able to control your creativity and control your output. I love that. And so I just want to keep doing that and teaching my kids to do the same, because I know that they are all, I'm like, do you want to be a dentist? They're like, no. Do you want to be a doctor? No. Do you want to be a lawyer? No. So if you want to get into the arts, make sure you grab a camera, you have everything that comes to economy straightened out, you learn about finances, and get to promoting you, because if you want to make yourself a brand, you need to understand what branding is and how to be able to find who you are and your pocket within the industry.
Yeah, so true. Well, and it's either, I can't decide if it's easier to break into now or harder, than when I did. Of course, many, many years ago, in my case, there weren't even that many people doing what I do. There were like maybe a couple dozen. And now there's a couple thousand, or, and they're not all, headliners, obviously. Yeah. But I always thought that if you can make a living, if you can pay bills doing something that you would like to do all day long, and like it so much, you'd do it for free. That you like it so much, you'd do it for free. Then do it well enough that somebody will pay you. That's kind of like, that feels like, if there is a recipe, that's mine. That's mine. So I give that to those out there who are listening, and I'll add that to your wisdom, if I may.
Absolutely.
And
I tell my kids that all the time too. And that's something that I myself told myself. I'm like, look, if we can pay just our basic bills with this, I'll never, ever have another job. Because my first job ever, which I really did not do great at it, was selling like dinnerware door to door and knives. And then
me too. I did that.
I did that. Did you?
Yeah, I did that. I
You
did that too. Yeah,
my
the
goodness,
knives.
door to door?
I had
We have this
knives.
whole set.
I sold knives, and I sold color encyclopedias for a week.
Oh my goodness.
For a week. I did it for a week. I sold one batch of books, and I thought, what the hell's the matter with me? What am I doing? And but I did the knife thing, and I was actually not that bad at it. But we sold knives and fork sets, cutlery in general, and it was all cheap crap. But it's and you can get these anywhere for about $50. But today, for $19.95, it's yours.
That I think that, you know what? It's because you make your own way in regards to, I know I can bring in this much commission and I can do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when you notice, wait a second, what am I really spending my energy on? If I'm going to spend energy on anything, it should be the thing that I love, because then I will be able to do it and anytime, as long as I want to. And that's what I think the industry, even though there is a lot more competition, there are a lot more teachers because there is a lot more competition. So if you see people out there doing what you want to do, don't take them as your competitors, because there's nobody exactly like you out there.
Yeah.
You are unique. I'm unique. Like when Wilmer Valderrama and I started talking during the Oscars, he's like, do you know how difficult of a pocket that you have that is so niche that you were able to fill? I'm like, I know. I was in reggaeton. Like, I was the only female rapper doing it in English and in Spanish.
Reggaeton. Wow.
Cats. Oh yeah, that's where I started, in reggaeton and hip hop. And to gain the respect of them, when I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't do the night stuff. None of that.
Oh yeah.
It was a hard climb. And then being Colombian, trying to do reggaeton, that was way before the Karol G's and everything. And now, Colombians doing reggaeton. When I started, it was like, you're Colombian? I'm sorry, you're not Puerto Rican, you can't do reggaeton. And I was like, I had to break walls, and I needed to stand up for myself and take the hit that everybody else now gets to walk the paved way, but I had to come in with a shovel, And so I think that I learned that grit. And what you, as a performer out there, and I talk to anybody out there that is in the arts, regardless if you want to be a singer, a writer, a performer, and whatever, You look at the people out there, don't look at them as your competitors, look at them as your teachers. So study them. What are they doing? How are they doing it? What are they shooting? How are they saying things? You know, artistry, they'll look at their websites, look at their TikToks, look at their Instagrams. How are they portraying it? How fast are they getting to their hooks? Just be eager to study the craft and fall in love with it, because the worst that you can be is a desperate artist. People can smell your desperation of, I better book this. This is the only thing I got.
Yeah, flop
I
sweat.
spent my last $2 taking a bus here and I'm going to have to walk home. You know, it's like, no.
Flop sweat doesn't look good on anybody.
No.
Yeah.
And they sense it. They sense the desperation. They sense when you really, really want it. And so the way that I have come from where I started to now, I will definitely say that I was a lot more of an eager beaver when I started.
Sure.
I did whatever it took, and that can lead you into compromising your values and your principles sometimes. Not that I did like super extra X-rated things, but I did very, very, very sexy wear that if my daughters, oh my goodness, were to walk out of the house with what I used to wear, I'm like, señorita, go back there. I'm like, okay. You know? And so, but they're like, Mom, you did it. Coincidentally, my kids are actually really, really modest. So just out of their own self. But
I'll knock on wood for you.
I see that, and it's not a competition, guys. You know, you're out there and you're forging your own path. You're
competing with yourself.
Competing against your yesterday self, not against anybody else. Just your yesterday self. Be better than you were yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're a little better every day, you're going to wind up pretty darn good.
It's compound goodness.
Yeah,
so you became, great.
Wow. That's true. Wow. And I always like to ask people, how is it that in the coming years, as the years go by, how is it that you would like to be remembered? Oh, I remember. Oh, she was great because she was kind, because she loved her family, because she did everything possible to spread joy. That's what I want to be known for. Not for what I do. It's for who I am. And so I work every day on being the best person I can be. And then I work on my craft to do it as best as I can. Because if I am the best person that I can be and leave a good example of, you can still make it in this business. You don't need to succumb to the pressures that this industry makes you feel that exists. They are shadows. It's just a phantom. Be good. I agree. And once you're good, be great. Because the one thing that can make it with you fully clothed and to the top is undeniable greatness. Amen. Amen.
You are undeniable, Jim. I don't know anybody. By the way, I added my name, and all my kids added their names to that petition to make you a legend. Because I'm like,
thanks.
You are
that's
beyond.
Funny. Thank you.
You are one of those people that is like, I cannot believe he did that. So many voices, just the industry, and you keep popping them. You keep popping them. I've seen you. I mean, I've sat next to you during Comic-Cons. How great you are with people. Your lines don't stop. It's like endless water.
Very sweet,
people saying, I lived my childhood. You are the voice of my childhood. Now you are the voice of my children. And I get to bring my kid here, and I get to nerd out with my baby, you know? And I see that joy. And I'm like, that is beautiful. You have left such a trail, but you are undeniable, Jim.
Oh,
nobody can just look at Jim and be like, you know, he does a couple good things. It's like,
well, that's so nice. Yeah, I realized this year that I'm on my third generation. You know, because I've got a 70-year-old who's a contemporary, and then his kid's 40, and their kids are like 19, 20, and then their kids might even be 3. So, got a multi-generational approach here, I guess. And I'm very blessed, and Christopher and I are very blessed that you came today.
Oh, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and I gotta say, not that I'm stalking you, Jim, or anything, but one of the most beautiful and tender moments that you have posted was when you were speaking in your Winnie Pooh voice to your grandchild.
Yes, thank you.
I was in tears because I'm like, I wish he was mine. I wish you could do that to my children. Here, Jim's coming in to put you to bed, honey. Come in. He's going to read you a bedtime story. He's going to be Winnie Pooh tonight. You know, that would be the most amazing thing. So
well, thank you. Well, he's
so
a magical little guy. There is no question about it. Jax is astonishing. And his parents are beautiful people, and he's one of those pure little entities in the world. He comes out fully formed, and he almost shines.
Oh my goodness.
But, he walks into a room when it's dark and it's not quite as dark.
Oh. But you see
it's a
the light,
beautiful thing.
and that light is also reflected in your talents, Jim. And
Oh.
it's a wonderful thing because in regards to people's talents, I think a lot of people focus a lot more on the technique. I used to do that a lot because I did not grow up being the best singer. And to the day, I don't consider myself the greatest singer. There's so many great singers out there. I consider myself
Well, that's okay. Everyone else
a
does.
person that studies the craft and is unrelentless at trying to keep growing. But one of the things that I think that people get caught up on is technique. And it's like, I know you can learn a lot of techniques, but just let your spirit flow, because that's ultimately what you're translating into a song, into a script. It's who you are inside, the troubles you may be going through, the joy you're going through, the heartache, the pain. That's what really translates. So stop worrying so much as, am I saying it right? It's like, am I saying it right? Like, are you really understanding what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming from a place of truth and conveying your truth, conveying your anger. Come from a place of truth. Forget so much about the tone. Am I saying it in the right? Am I saying it in the right? Am I saying it in the right? Like, what are you trying?
Yeah.
Then add the other layers on top of it.
That's a good way to look at it. That's beautiful. Well said. Wow. Thank you so much.
Well, before we finish, do you want to do a quick little voice swap?
Oh,
We do
yes.
this. I'm not sure if
you
you
have to
know
explain.
this game or not.
I do not.
Okay, so excuse me. I'm sorry. I have like a little bit of a thing going on. How the game
Yes.
works is Jim will do one of his character voices, say Winnie the Pooh, and he'll say a line for his character, and then you will say that same line but in your character voice, and then vice versa. How does that sound?
Okay, that sounds fantastic. It's so cool.
Okay. Okay. So let me think.
Do you have anybody that you want to hear, Adassa? Any characters?
I would love Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. Okay. All right then. I always get to where I'm going by walking away from where I've been.
I always get to where I'm going by walking away from where I've been.
It was very mysterious. It was sultry. I love sultry mystery. I think that's a thing.
Okay, I'll do mine
And
then.
now you do one. Yeah.
The only one worried about the magic is you and the rats talking in the walls.
The only one worried about the magic is you and the rats talking in the walls. To the rat catcher, Darkwing. Oh, wait, I'm Darkwing. Launchpad. There we go. Well, that was a little Darkwing Duck for you.
Oh, that was fantastic. I can't believe I just did that with Jim.
I can't believe either. I'll take it.
That was amazing.
Want to do another one? Let's do another one. Let's see. Well, how about Tasmanian Devil? And then you can come up with one of your characters. How come you bury me in the cold, cold ground?
I was wondering what you were going to say. When you said Taz, I was like, what's he going to say?
Here we go. He doesn't have...
You gotta give me that one again. I was too caught up in the moment. Okay, go get.
What for you bury me in the cold, cold ground?
What for you bury me in the cold, cold ground?
Yes. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Okay. That was a terrible growl spit, but everything else is pretty good. But don't quit your day job because your day job's amazing. So you would have to take a step down to do one of my guys anyway. Thank you so much.
What character was that?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she's a very dangerous character I had to play in a new show that I'm working on.
Oh, nice.
She's extremely over the top. Everything is so annoying.
Oh, we get a little sneak peek as well.
She's a little sweetie pie. Okay.
Yes, I didn't know I could be dark and dangerous until I was on tour with the Disney Princess concerts, and we did an All Stars concert in Taipei, Taiwan, and I got to be Ursula. And I never knew I could play a villain until I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. And I sang it and I was like, where's this Ursula coming from?
Oh,
It's in
nice.
there all the time.
Well, that must have been fun.
Is that the one that Susan Egan's producing?
Yes, Susan
Yes.
Egan. She is a doll. Honestly, half the time I just spent in awe of her and her talents and the team that she puts together. And so, yeah, we're going to be doing the Disney cruise now in August, and we're going to be going out of Europe. So it's going to be pretty exciting to be on stage with her again.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is.
she's a love. She's been on the podcast before. She's lovely.
She's amazing.
And so talented.
So talented.
Jinx.
There we go. I know. Thanks again.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, thank you so much for being on. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. And did we ask, is there anything you need to tout
Oh yes,
or
of
speak
course,
about?
of course. Well, your book.
Yes, so Love Keeps Showing Up is now out everywhere you can find a book, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. And I'm so grateful as well that the album drops May 8th. And that is an incredible, just work from the heart. It's called Drink It Up.
And so I'm sure we will.
May 8th tomorrow.
Yes, May 8th tomorrow.
Are you
It's
having a
actually
party? You said
I
that so
am.
casually. It's tomorrow.
We're dropping it here in Nashville, so I'll be doing TV for promotion. So we're dropping the
Oh,
video
great.
of the song and the book promotion. So yeah,
Nice. That's really cool. That's exciting.
That's
Very happy.
fantastic. Well, break a leg
Yes.
or a
Thank you
lip.
so much.
Break a lip.
Yeah, once again, thank you so much for being here once again. And thank you guys all for watching. Sorry, I have a bit of a head cold here. I sound a little scraggy. But if you guys like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It helps you. It helps us. And YouTube's a weird website. I mean, you can literally watch a video on YouTube and then it's never recommended again. So don't let that happen. And if you like this content so much you want to see more of it, good news. We have bonus content on Patreon, Tuned In with Jim Cummings on Patreon. You can find interviews that you can't find anywhere else. You can find extended interviews, all that good stuff. So be sure to check that out. And with all that said and done, once again, Adassa, thank you so much for being here. I'm producer Chris and the legend Jim Cummings. We will see you in the
Thank
next
you.
one.
God bless.
Bye. Adios.